Welcome back to Mic Check Please. Today's guest is Willie Allen, though you might know him better by his stage names Mr. Slim Pickins or Azazel Jezebel.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Coming up, we're talking about the punk scene in Bryan College Station. Willie's seen it all. Sweaty shows, chaotic house parties, and the eerie quiet when COVID shut everything down. But the scene didn't come back quite the same. He's got a take on what changed and what never will. This is Mic Check Please, a podcast about music, creativity, and the local scenes where incredible talent is waiting to be heard. I'm your host, Richard Wilkins. Let's dive in. Today's guest is Willie Allen, a.k.a. Mr. Slim Pickins, a.k.a. Azazel Jezebel. Willie, thanks for being here. What's up, man?
You're having me, not much. I do want to say, so with the Azazel Jezebel, that's for my band. I'm in a band called Full Frontal. That at the 101, every third Thursday of the month, there's something called Cowpunk Circus.
All right.
And usually the house band for it is Drifters and Grifters. It's a head-to-head, two bands against each other. It's the least friendly competition around. So there's a lot of middle fingers thrown at each other, and it's encouraged, boo the band that you're playing against and all that. And whenever Drifters and Grifters isn't available, Full Frontal plays.
Okay.
And our job is to be the heel. People are supposed to hate us. And so Azazel Jezebel is my character for that one.
Okay. A very, very hateable character?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, not a good guy. It's a bad guy.
All right. Describe Azazel Jezebel to me.
So, a Full Frontal is kind of... we started out saying that we were Full Frontal butt rock. We wrote every butt rock hit. So any song by Stain, Puddle of Mud, Creed... That was us, man. We wrote that for them.
All right. Okay.
But Azazel Jezebel has just no respect for anybody. Not nice to anybody. He only speaks if he feels compelled to do so.
Okay.
So just like not someone that you want to hang around. That's the point of it. You're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to be like, you want that band to lose, you know?
Okay. All right. And that's at the 101?
Yeah, the 101 for Cowpunk Circus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. What is it every?
It's the third Thursday of every month. I know two of the guys from Drifters and Grifters just had kids here recently. Not together, but
Oh, separately?
Yeah, independently of each other. They both just had kids, so I think they're taking a little bit of a break right now.
Okay.
But most of the time, every third Thursday of the month.
All right, cool. So, what else is going on? I mean, you're in this band Goblins, right? And
yeah.
And you do some, solo stuff, like Slim Pickins, Mr. Slim Pickins.
Yeah. So I'm in 5 bands right now. So I'm in Full Frontal. I'm in a band called Goblins. It's with a couple of my best buds. I'm in a band called Southern Degenerates. It's like grungy Southern rock. I'm in a band called Mutant Love, which has been around here for years and years now. I'm just the newest addition.
Okay, I've heard of Mutant Love.
Yeah, they played it.
They've been around.
They played at Revs whenever Revs was open. They were at Revs like every weekend. Which is funny. That band. Excuse me. Is the one that I can listen to Mutant Love and the stuff that they have out without feeling weird about it. So I didn't record any of the stuff they have out right now because it was all before I was there. But we're recording. We're in the process of recording an album for Mutant Love.
Oh, yeah?
So we'll have music out with them soon. And then I also am playing in a band called Skunk Money, which is like surfy, pop punk kind of thing. That one's pretty fun.
Cool.
And then my solo stuff under Mr. Slim Pickins. and that's I don't have that on Spotify or Apple Music. That's just on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And I always just record it off my phone, and then just throw it up there. That one's the one. That one's the spot that the stuff that I write that doesn't necessarily go to any of my other bands. It's just like I can just throw it up on SoundCloud and put it out there, and if anybody feels like listening to it, they can. But it's not like a I'm not pressuring that one too hard. But if I need to make $100 or something, I can go play a solo set somewhere. And
right. Yeah. Yeah. Go down to whatever local restaurant or something. Set up in the corner and
some coffee shop or something. Yeah.
All right. So all right, that's a lot of bands to be in. So you're pretty heavily involved in music. How did you kind of like get into music?
Well, my dad has played in punk bands since the 80s. He was in Street Pizza. The old heads out there, that one, you'll know that one. They were around here in like the 80s and 90s. And he was the bass player in that band, and so I've always kind of had it around. But yeah, I started.
So you grew up kind of like in a musical.
Yeah,
family.
I grew up around it. It was never like forced on me or anything, which I'm super grateful for, because with the way that I am, if they tried to make me do music, I definitely wouldn't have wanted to do music. Right. But yeah, just I've always kind of been around it, and I got into like the classic like Ramones, Sex Pistols, stuff like that whenever I was in like middle-ish school, and I was like, this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I want to do that. Right. And so I started learning more stuff like that. I've always kind of known how to play bass, and I picked up guitar, learned some Jack Johnson, and then really found punk rock and was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
All right, so that's how you. So yeah, like what bands were the ones, or what was the music that made you decide this is definitely what I want to do?
A lot of punk rock for sure. Like I said, like I don't like the guys that are in the band, but the band itself, Sex Pistols, that like it's so like their song "Pretty Vacant" was like really the one that sold me. But just like that kind of like that super raw, anything that feels like real, which is ironic to say that with Sex Pistols because they're like the first punk rock boy band. But anything that felt like real, so like them, Ramones were always awesome. Agent Orange was a really big one for me. My dad, he taught me how to play their song Bloodstains on bass whenever I was like 8 years old, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. With them, and then also like with my solo stuff, a lot of like Townes Van Zandt, this artist Willie Carlisle, he's huge for me. Old 97, Slobberbone, a lot of those like alternative country, folk kind of things. Because all their lyrics are like it feels like you're getting punched in the heart, So
right. So you had pretty
really
deep.
Feel it feels real and raw and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking for like authenticity and not some kind of packaged.
Right. Yeah.
Hit song kind of Billboard 100 type of thing.
Right. Which I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I will cut a rug to some Dua Lipa, but like if I'm gonna sit down and listen to something, I want it to be something that you can tell really come from someone's heart, like from their gut. That's what sells me on something.
All right, cool. I see there's a guitar sitting there right next to you. And speaking of something that like comes from the gut, do you have a song you could play for us?
Yes, I do. It's called "Damn You, I'm Scared Shitless."
Oh, okay.
It's about my lovely girlfriend Michaela.
All right.
But I wrote it because she was like, I don't know, she doesn't need me, and that's really cool. Like she's very much her own person, and like it's kind of like I don't know. It's a very punk rock love song. It's like you don't need me, and you would be just fine without me, and that's part of what makes me like you so
And that's
much.
why I like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let's hear it.
Well, I love the way that you never need me. The blood in your hair reflects from the TV station displaying some white TV garbage. So I would just sit down and wait here regardless. All of these people that say that these people were like, get so fucking bored. Cause I am disabled and with being evil, well, I need something more. Batten the hatches and hoist up the sail on the ship of skin and bone. You can't sail away and play on the wings, and you're right being alone. And God as a witness, I'm scared shitless. Well, wanting and needing are two separate things, and more so the latter you lack. Needing and wanting are totally something that I need to get on track. Hate that I love you and love that you ache shit the way that I ache kind of sheep. Awake and walking in endlessly, talking about not ever getting no sleep. So unload the machine and dig all the trenches on this farm of grass and mud. And just stay here, just please fucking stay here and form up flesh and blood. And God as a witness, I'm scared shitless. That's total.
All right. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, that's that one.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for playing that there, Willie.
Yeah.
That sounds nice. So, how do you like write these songs? And do you just you're playing some music and some words come to you, or what's the?
I mean, usually I'll so throughout the day I'll like hear a phrase or see a sign or a billboard or something, and I'll just have a series of words that I like the way that they fit together. Or I'll think of something and I'll just kind of put it in my notes on my phone throughout the day. And then whenever one of them especially kind of strikes me, I'll just kind of like add on to it and just keep going with it. And then usually I'll also mess around on the guitar and find a chord progression that I like, and I'll be playing it, and I'll be like, you know what, I think this one note on my phone would fit to this, and so I'll throw the lyrics on there and see if it fits, and then just kind of build it out from there. But I don't like doing the whole like, I'm going to sit down and write a song about this,
Right. Just kind of
let it happen as it happens.
Just happens organically.
Yeah, I feel like I've tried to sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to write a song about this thing that's going on right now. And I sit there for like 10 minutes and I'm like, I got nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if it works, it works approach.
Yeah. How would you say your solo work is different from what you do with Goblins, for example?
With Goblins, all my solo stuff is acoustic, which is probably the biggest difference between Goblins. But I don't know, like I said, it's kind of the stuff that I don't feel like would fit my other bands. And my more, usually my more folky kind of stuff is what I'll do with my solo stuff. It's also I'm with my solo stuff, it's the one where I'm the only one who has creative control, so I can do whatever I want with it. Right. Which, especially with Goblins, like I've been playing with Barrett. He was my first drummer.
Okay.
He's one of my best buds. But he was my first drummer, like first band I was in. He was drumming for, and so we've been playing music together for years and years and years and years now. Me and Aaron have been friends since like 2016, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So
we've been friends for years and years. And so even, not having the 100% creative control is fine, because we wouldn't be friends if we didn't get along and agree on some
Right.
music stuff.
Right.
And so I very much value their musical input. and all that on this. I like collaborating with them and working on stuff with them too. So
cool. So what did you all do like when COVID like happened? I mean, you're in 5 bands now, and you're working on a theatrical project, for the music for that, and you've got a lot going on right now. So what happened, when COVID kind of just shut everything down?
So whenever COVID happened, I was living with my buddy Reese. Me and him, we had a band together for a few years called Really. That one's not around anymore. We actually, I think he actually just stopped paying the DistroKid thing on that, so all the music is off of Spotify and all that now.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. But me and him were living together, and we would go to open mics. We would go to open mic at Revs all the time, at Revolution, all the time. Me and Aaron and our other friends and stuff, we would go to the punk shows and stuff at Revs. And then COVID hit, and like I said, I was lucky enough to be living with one of the guys I'm in a band with. So me and him were still able to jam and all that since we were in the same house. Mm-hmm. But we just kind of had to sit there and be like, man, this sucks. Like, we're just kind of stuck there, just scrolling on our phones and playing music in our garage. But it, just for the greater good, everything just kind of had to stop for a bit.
Right.
And
yeah, I think everybody just kind of like trying to figure out, what do we do now type of thing.
And I definitely expanded, my musical intake during COVID, because there wasn't much else to do but sit there and find new stuff to listen to and all that.
Right. You have all the time in the world now.
Right, exactly. So I got a lot more into a lot different music. And that's kind of thanks to, hate to say it, but TikTok definitely helped introduce me to some bands and stuff. And I think it did a lot to get people into, punk rock and stuff like that. But it gave people a bit of an unrealistic view of people that had never been in that sort of scene. It gave them kind of an unrealistic view of it, because it was, whenever people post on the internet, they're not posting about like the boring parts of it or the not so cool parts of it and all that. And so it gave people this kind of unrealistic view of what punk rock is and what a local scene is and what shows are like and how you should be at shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's a difference that I've noticed after COVID too, is kind of the difference in the social part of it. Which whenever I was at Revs, I grew up going to shows with my parents at Revolution, and I was always definitely in the music part of it. But before COVID, I was, what year was that? 2019, 2020. I was 19, 20 whenever it happened. So before that, I wasn't necessarily like with everyone else doing illicit things in the bathroom. I wasn't like fully a part of the social scene. But at least from my position, being there and seeing all of it happen, versus being older now, and it's weird being the age that I am, because to the older people in the scene, I'm still one of the kids. But to the younger people in the scene, I'm unk, as the kids say.
Oh yeah, all right.
I'm like they see me as older, so it's weird being the age that I am now. Like, oh, the guys that I was like, the guys in bands that I was like praying to back then, I'm their age now. Like I'm in their shoes.
Right.
So yeah, there's some big differences, but that like, kids in a college town where there's nothing to do but drink, getting together to play music, still happening. It's always gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool that it's still happening, and it's even more prevalent now, and it's more varied than it used to be, for sure.
So we got live shows coming back, and people. Has attendance at shows changed?
Yeah, it seems like more now. It seems like more now people will come out to see their friends' bands rather than going out to see a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've noticed, like, if there's a band that comes out to play, it's local or whatever, and they have a pretty good draw, a lot of times their friends will come, if they're playing early in the night, their friends will come out, watch their set, and then leave.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which, I mean, I don't say that to, like, slight anybody or anything like that. It's just something that I've kind of noticed. And I don't think that they're doing it intentionally to be like, screw these other bands, you know?
Right. Yeah, they just came out to support their friends. Yeah.
Whereas I remember going to shows at Revs and all that, and it was packed most weekends. And it was a lot of people going out just to see a show, just to see these bands that are playing, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the blessing and the curse of having the internet so prevalent, is you can get this traction and all that, you can get all these likes and all these followers, but that doesn't necessarily translate to actual real life attendance at shows and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think like during COVID, people just got used to, digitizing everything, right? Watching musicians on YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah.
Or so maybe now they're just kind of used to having their music packaged. Like their live music is not live anymore. It's
right.
YouTubed.
Yep. Yeah. And during COVID, I did with a couple of my friends. I helped on it. They would do like streams because it was friends with other musicians and stuff, and so they're like, well, I can't play shows and I don't have a job, so I need to do something. And so they would hop on like Facebook Live or whatever and do streams, and people would donate every once in a while, but
yeah, because you got to get some money from somewhere.
Right, exactly. But yeah.
Wow. So it's so you've got live shows now. People are coming back out. Do you think it'll ever be like the same as it was?
I don't think it'll be the same as it used to be, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. Because everything needs to grow and evolve and change.
Right.
And I'm just as scared of change as anybody else, It's always kind of a scary thing whenever things are different. But I don't think that's a bad thing, because one thing that, especially in the punk scene here, one thing that has never been punk rock is stasis, Mm-hmm. It's always been an agent of change, and it's always been an agent of progress. And so, I don't think that it's ever going to be the same as it was at Revs or anything like that, but like I said, I don't think that's a bad thing. Especially, like one of the big changes is the how varied the music is here now. Back in the day, there were killer bands, there was Mutant Love, but there was like the Ex-Optimists, there was the Hangouts, there was Ass, there was every once in a while like Babylon Breakers would come. There was all these awesome like old school hardcore and thrash, and those were like the two kind of big genres here. But after COVID, the diversity and the kind of music that's being played in alternative spaces here, so much bigger. There's more like kind of indie bands now. There's more surfy. There's more psychedelic. There's like some new school hardcore. I also want to shout out a few of like I always hated being called like a high school band whenever I was younger, because our thing was always, we're not a high school band, we're a band that is in high school.
Right, we're a band.
Yeah. So I don't want to call them a high school band, but the bands that the kids are in, there's three in particular. Antibodies are awesome. They're like punk rock. They have this kind of almost pop punk, almost hardcore. Like they're really good. They put on a killer show. Moon Age is another one. Shout out Sage. Sage is in Mystic Pizza with me.
Oh, right.
They're awesome. They're kind of shoegazy, somewhere in that genre. And then probably my favorite young band right now is this hardcore band called Youth in Asia.
Okay. Yeah.
Youth in Asia. Their sound is killer. It kind of reminds me of like Dillinger Escape Plan sometimes. It's heavy, it's fast, it's raw, it's youthful. And they put on such a good show. One of the last times that I saw them, they had their friend, for the entirety of their set, they had their friend sitting in a chair in front of the stage reading Lord of the Flies.
All right.
Which I think that's so cool because, you know, if they just wanted to be silly and be funny, they could have had him reading, you know, How to Play Guitar for Dummies or something. They could have had him reading any book, but having him read Lord of the Flies and then being a young band is, at least what I took from it, is kind of like them being like, we're running this now. Like this is ours right now.
Right.
And throughout it, they had written out these kind of passages and like taped them into the book, and he would give his friend the mic every once in a while, and he would read off these passages that they had written, and it was like that flowery language like it is in Lord of the Flies, but that they wrote and applied to their music. It's so cool. It's so cool and intentional, and it's absolutely killer. Youth in Asia is awesome.
So it's a show that probably wouldn't come across the same if you just heard it on Spotify. Oh no, absolutely. Right. It's like the live aspect to it is absolutely such a big part of it, which I love live music, and so that's like top of the line awesome stuff right there. Right. You can't get any realer than that. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So it sounds like there's some, really great young bands coming up in this area. Absolutely, yeah. There's more that I'm sure I'm just breeding right now, which feels bad to say, but there's definitely more bands in town that if people come out to shows, you'll see them play, and everyone will see exactly what I'm talking about. It's awesome. I love seeing the kids are all right. The kids are all right. Yeah. Kids are all right. Yeah. So we've got a lot of stuff to see. Absolutely. And live music around here. Absolutely. And that's just one spot too, Right. There's a whole Houston thing going on, and there's Austin. There's stuff that's out of town too. But at least, here in Bryan, the 101, if you want to, I always say that's the spot for us freaks. It's for the freaks to congregate and be our weird little freak selves and do our thing. The little island of misfit toys. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. But, there's also Third Floor Cantina. Third Floor has been around for a long time. It closed down for a while and opened back up. But they do music over there, too. They're more on, like, the country, southern rock kind of thing. Okay. My band, Southern Degenerates, we actually played there on Friday. But we play over there. There's absolutely killer acoustic acts over at the Boiler Room in the basement of La Salle. Oh, there's like a speakeasy down there. Really? Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah. That place is cool. It's a little fancier. But there's Greg Schrader. He's a family friend of ours, but he's a fantastic singer-songwriter. He has music out too, but he plays over there fairly often. But there's plenty of spots here in town. I always hear people say there's nothing to do here. But there is. If you like live music, there's plenty to do for people who like live music. Right? Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. So, hey, before we close, where can people find your music? So my solo stuff is on SoundCloud. It's under Mr. Slim Pickins. For Goblins, that's Goblinz. You can find that on Spotify and Apple Music, YouTube. Southern Degenerates, same thing. Skunk Money, all streaming platforms. Mutant Love,
Mutant Love has an EP and a split out. You can find that on all streaming platforms and all that. Just look up the name of the band. You'll find it. You'll find it on there.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things that's good that came out of COVID is like people know how to use the internet.
right. They know how to actually look for stuff on there.
Right. Any upcoming shows or projects you want people to know about?
Off the top of my head, I don't think we have anything booked right now. I know Goblins, as much as we adore our scene here, we love the scene here very much. Some of our best buds are in this scene. But we have been trying to play outside of town too. So we've been looking for shows out of town. I think we were talking to Come and Take It. I don't remember exactly when that is. The only thing off the top of my head that I can think of right now is to come see Mystic Pizza at the Theater Company. I think it's Fridays through Sundays, September 26th through October 12th. You can get tickets online. It's a jukebox musical adaptation of the hit 80s rom-com Mystic Pizza.
All right.
So come see all your favorite 80s pop songs sung by a bunch of 20-somethings.
All right. So. And what Goblins is rewriting, well, not rewriting, but you're recording the music?
Yeah, so the cast recording for it is out, but we need tracks that don't have the vocals on them so that we can make sure that we're actually hitting our vocal parts and all that. And so Goblins has been recording the rehearsal tracks for the musical for us to practice to and all that. So,
oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, so
that's a fun project.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Especially, it's funny, I'm used to reading, guitar tabs and bass tabs and stuff like that, and we're sitting down and looking at actual sheet music. I'm like, I have to be a real musician now. Like, this is hard, man.
Oh, man. That's it for today's episode of Mic Check Please. Huge thanks to Willie Allen, a.k.a. Mr. Slim Pickins, and Azazel Jezebel for sharing his stories and perspective on the punk scene here in Bryan and beyond. Be sure to check out his music, whether it's his solo work or with his band Goblins, or any of those other bands. There's like 4 other bands there. And if you're in the Brazos Valley, keep an eye out for the next show. Supporting local music always helps keep the scene alive. So thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment, nasty or otherwise, I don't care. I would just like to hear from you. And share this episode with a fellow punk fan. And until next time, the stage is yours.
Got a gun full of love and I'm shooting myself first. I'm dying in the street, I'm a martyr of self-worth. I am just a little guy, you can fit me in your purse. Pockets to give to the nurse. No photo ID and no personal effects. You're a new 4-door sedan and I'm a terrible wreck. In my own bed, mirror in the hallway, and I look just like the living dead. I'm wrapped in tattered rags, I'm an Ivy League fool. I'm every punk rock cliche you could ever use.